sports, Hutch music. Mike and Marty on the beat. Mike and Marty. Mike and Marty.
Good morning, Rockingham, and welcome to the feed. It's Mike and Marty. Here we are on May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Everybody knows that one. Colin's out shaking his head. Missed my joke. I thought there was going to be a
there was a
but
graphic for that, but apparently it was
that.
lost in space.
Lost
So
it.
lost the cue on that. There it is.
There it is.
There it is. May the 4th
Marty
be
was
with
working
you.
extra to get our graphics department to get our good graphics out.
Well, I missed the 420. Your other
I know.
favorite. Your
Last
other
week was
favorite.
420, and we
missed that one. So I
celebrate
thought I
that.
had to get May the 4th be with you.
So today we're here with Nate Brown and Ash Hutton, and we're going to be talking about the Bells Falls Farmers Market and what's happening this summer at the market. Sounds really exciting. But first, Marty with local events.
So this week, actually this whole month at the Bells Falls Opera House is Doctor Strange. So if you haven't had enough of the Doctor Strange movies, there's yet another one happening. Classic movie tonight is Singing in the Rain, and how perfect because it's raining today. And that's sponsored by Elijah Zimmer and the Keep BF Beautiful group. I want to give a huge shout out to the Chamber of Commerce for the event last week, the Community Superheroes event. It was well run. It was so nice to have an in-person event and see people again.
Yeah, it
and
really was.
everyone. There was great food. It was well organized, and there's 16 community superheroes, businesses and superheroes that were honored. There is a television show there's a show on Fact TV that Mike filmed and edited. So if you want to see it, you can. Huge shout to the community for supporting the Show and Grow pop-up last Saturday night and helping us raise $2,000 for the Rotary Club. And that money will all go back into the community in the form of scholarships that we give out every year, and also a lot of community projects, service projects that we're doing. And we also sometimes help fund other nonprofits in the area if they're low on funding, like, I don't know, maybe farmers markets and things like that.
Yes.
But Women's Club Tea was successful. Thank you to everybody that supported that. Coming up on Monday, May 9th, this coming Monday at 6 p.m., Greater Falls Connections is hosting dessert and discussion. Greater Falls Connections is looking for advisory board members or volunteers that want to help when we go back in person and have events. So we're inviting everyone to come meet the board, meet the the youth that are served with Greater Falls Connections, and also the staff in a casual setting at Parks Place. And First Friday suppers are back at the Baptist Church, and May 6th this week from 5 to 6:30 p.m. They'll be doing a barbecue. And this funding, each month they pick a different nonprofit, and this month is going to go to the Veterans Project Fund. So it's a good investment of $7, good homemade food at the First Baptist Church.
Okay, and don't forget, this weekend's Mother's Day, so support your local florists and restaurants and everything. Take your mom out to breakfast or lunch and buy her some flowers. Also, Green Up Day is this weekend. The bags are available at the hardware stores now, so jump in and get your bags for Green Up Day. And just another little shout out, Old Fort Number 4 is having a French and Indian Wars encampment this weekend where everyone's going to be there. That's a lot of fun if you have kids and stuff to just take them and show them what happened. And then next weekend they're going to do an artillery demonstration with the black powder muskets and artillery and stuff. I know. Marty's always like, oh, this history stuff. He's always into this history.
I'm thinking,
But
I don't know
anyway,
if kids should go to that one.
that's a good one. It's loud, it's smoky, and they're like yelling and doing all this stuff. It's great fun. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
We're here to talk today about the farmers market and what's happening in Bells Falls coming up. It sounds like you're really expanding over the last couple of years, and I'll go to Ash first. You're going to be the director this year, or what's the actual title, I guess?
It would be the market manager.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a new role for me, and I've been spending the last couple of weeks getting to know some of the vendors. And yeah, it seems like there's a lot of excitement. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a good summer. So
Yeah, and Nate, you're going to be Are you helping, you're a vendor because from Northwind Farms, but
Yep.
are you actually helping with the organization? And
Yeah, we kind of changed the way we're running the market this year, where all the main vendors who have been there for multiple years, we kind of all got together and said we really want to push this and get it going. It's really kind of slowed down over the last few years, so we kind of took it amongst ourselves to start meeting on a weekly basis. Handful of months ago, and really just kind of organizing it and trying to delegate different operations, things we could do to help, fundraising, music, entertainment, food, and seeing how just through us we could actually get this all accomplished and really bring it to town and have a great event for the summertime for the community.
that sounds like a neat way of doing it, almost like a bootstrap sort of idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A vendor-run market, rather than having a board of directors that makes decisions and then you have all your vendors that are outside the board of directors. We've kind of taken on the helm of being our own board of directors and working with each other, and that's who's there. So it works out.
And where are you guys going to be this year?
Hetty Green Park, we're back to. The Waypoint Center was really nice. There was a lot of room, but I think a lot of us are excited to have grass again under our feet.
It's a catch-22 because the visibility at the Waypoint Center is bad,
Yep.
but yet the space is great.
Space was great. It was nice to see folks coming off the
Yeah.
train too,
Yeah.
down there. But it really did. It slowed down a lot.
Interesting.
And I think that being back closer to a lot more of the residential areas of town is going to hopefully help a lot more traffic, and families come out and walk down with their kids and, with prepared foods and music.
Plus, there's great parking there too. I mean, it's not like it's not a minus. That Hetty Green has that big parking lot right next to it too, so it's really nice as
Yeah.
far as people who drive in and.
It's also great because it's in your face. Like there's a high traffic road, so like it's easy to forget that it was. Oh my God, it's Friday. It's a farmers market. I totally forgot. But driving down, it's like, oh, there it is. Pull over and grab something. How many vendors are you working with this year?
You have a count?
I don't have an exact count.
I think there's at least 4 or 5 that are really solid. Besides us and who else is there? Grandview Gourmet is usually always there. Ourselves. There's Highland View Farm from Alstead that do fresh honey and chicken. There will be, I believe, Bascom Farm, which is from Alstead as well, who does produce and mushrooms. Anyone else I can't remember. But there's going to be a handful. I would guess we're hoping to start with at least somewhere between 5 to 10 vendors, and we're really pushing now to try to get a lot more in.
Then do you sometimes get like one-off vendors that only come for a couple weeks and because do other things?
Yeah.
Does that happen too, or is that
It
not
definitely
as much?
does, and we're completely open this year to taking any vendor, whether it's a day, whether they want to do every other week.
Oh, that's
It's
good to
you
know.
want to come and be a day vendor, please, come and bring what you do.
Yeah.
It's
So that's an interesting idea because you have to recruit the vendors, right? Or you guys have to recruit the vendors. Do they contact you, or do they contact? Is there a website, or how do they? If a vendor was like, oh, I just saw the feed and I could like to do the. How would they contact you?
So we have the Greater Falls Farmers Market Gmail,
Mm-hmm.
and then I believe there's also a vendor sign up form through the Greater Falls Farmers Market website.
And you guys are on Facebook too?
And Facebook.
Yeah, so they could find all those connections, because that's sometimes the easiest way for people to
Yeah.
Google, find it, and then they can link to everything there.
Yes.
Awesome. So you have a big event though to kick off.
Yes.
When's that happening?
That's going to be on May 20th, also at Hetty Green Park. So, yeah.
It's going to be exciting.
So it's a full-scale block party. And I want to know how you landed Intercept. Did you have to talk with their agents and
Well, our
sign some
agents talked
contracts?
with their agents, and I know one of our vendors, Dylan, who's the baker for Grandview Gourmet. He's friends with the band, and he said, I think they'd be great for the opening party, and the rest was history.
Nice.
He worked and got them all in.
We have Floyd on a lot, so we always have to give him a hard time.
Yeah.
But you will have a good turnout.
You will.
And maybe not the traditional farmers market person might come. You might, unless you have a lot of death metal farmers market people.
You know, you never know.
You never know. You never know.
It'll be great. We'll have tons of food. We've got, thus far, we have some really nice Vermont-raised Wagyu beef donated from Spring Rock Farm. And we'll be doing burgers and hot dogs, and we'll have a silent auction, raffles, and yeah, we're looking to get a lot of people down. We'll have also the plant sale as well down there for people that are into starting plants for their gardens and stuff for the summertime.
Because that's a pretty good time, too, because that's when you want to start putting plants in, right? Is if you have some, you don't want to put them in like today because...
We still, unfortunately, have a couple
Yeah.
cold nights, I think. They don't want to go away.
It seems persistent this spring. For some reason, it seems like winter's hanging on for some reason. Yeah.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
I saw a post on Facebook today that it's May and it may be sunny or it may be rainy and it may be cold and it may be hot, and it's really the truth.
Sounds like Vermont.
Yeah, pretty much. When does the actual farmers market open? What's the first Friday that you're open?
That's going to be June 17th.
Oh,
And we'll
that's
go through September 30th.
perfect. So you know what that weekend is in Bells Falls, right?
Yes.
Yes, big weekend.
Big
So
time.
that's perfect time to
Which
open.
is kind of
Alumni
why we
weekend.
coincided it with everything. We figured there'll be a lot of people
Yeah.
downtown. You know,
Yeah.
it's a Friday evening, and
Yeah, that'll be crazy.
and it's great. We have at least 2 prepared food vendors that'll be at the market weekly this year doing pizzas and another dumpling cart as well, making handmade dumplings with all local ingredients. So it'll be a great place to come and hear some music, grab a bite to eat, walk downtown, see any other events going on.
It sounds to me like you're really gonna, you're creating some things that are gonna be every week, like music and some really good food. And I know there were food in years past, but it didn't seem like you featured that as much. And it seems like this is really much more. It's going to be someplace. It's going to be in a place you want to go, even if you might not buy as much as you might want to go get a taco or a dumpling or something like that.
Absolutely.
Just to see what they have. Yeah.
I mean, we really hope it's something that, draws folks out of their homes. There's not a lot that's consistent in Bellows Falls to bring people out,
That's a good point.
whether it's the week or the weekend. Besides, the Opera House and the movie is great to catch a movie real quick, bring your kids and stuff. But just something that goes on weekly to walk down to. And that's available, approachable, no cost to come and sit and listen to music with your kids in the grass. And, it's a great event.
No, I agree with what Mike said about the consistency of the food, because I know in the past that sometimes would be something that I was kind of trying to double down on getting vegetables for the weekend, but also something so I didn't have to cook on Friday night. And then there wasn't always consistently a food booth, so I think that's an important step moving forward. Do you all still take you have the option for Ebt cards, is that correct?
Yep. So we have the crop cash
Okay,
program.
I knew there was a name for it, I just couldn't remember.
Yeah, so it's a double value program for anybody that is using 3 Square or SNAP benefits. It will double the value of those benefits at the farmer's market.
Which I think is huge this year because
Yeah.
grocery prices have gone like
Yeah.
through the roof.
Yeah, it'll be
And-
big.
Put in 20 and you can get 40 in fresh produce.
Yeah.
It's
That's a win-win.
a win-win all day.
That's
Yeah.
a huge win. Yeah. Pretty
And
amazing.
the whole idea of shopping local, buying local, sustaining local, and it all if we can get used to that, then we don't have to worry about supply chain. We've seen what happens when we rely on things coming from wherever, but we have so many local farmers doing great things here. Let's start really supporting that. And I think that people are starting to. Do you notice it? In that people are starting to kind of get it that it's.
We definitely do a little bit. That's what I grew up about an hour north of here in Stratford, Vermont, and a lot of farms there as well. But what drew us to this area right here in Bellows Falls is there's a lot of farms, but there's not a lot of farms doing and growing for the local community.
Yeah.
And really trying to connect with your neighbors to provide eggs, produce, whatever you might provide. And it's an important thing, like you were saying, to shop local, support local. There's no issues with food chains. The food is safe. It was picked yesterday or an hour before you came and picked it up and went directly from, our ground to your plate. It's a great thing. It's really nice to know where your food comes from.
And, a lot of people forget that when, lettuce is shipped in from California and it's taken a long time to get here, there's a certain loss of, like, the nutrients. You guys, the fresher the food is, the more nutrient density in it. Plus the flavor.
It's
Yeah, there's
100%.
no,
Totally
there's no
different.
comparison.
Totally different.
And I mean, when I can pick a pound of spinach and that spinach will sit in my fridge for 2 weeks and be just as good as the day I picked it, but you buy from the grocery store and you realize that 4 days later it's rotting in your fridge.
No kidding.
It's been hanging out somewhere.
Yeah, it's been sitting there 2 weeks on a train or something, yeah.
Right. It's, your quality suffers, your consistency suffers, and
Yeah.
certainly your nutrients.
And maybe you can just mention that about Northwind Farms, that you run or are Northwind Farms, and you do CSAs, and so you're really speaking from
What we do.
from what you do. It's not like he's not saying, "Oh, I know people who do this." It's like this is what you do every day.
Yeah, my wife and I started Northwind Farm 3 years ago, and we really just wanted to be an extremely diverse small farm. It's just the two of us and our 8-year-old, but we raise heritage pork in the woods. We raise pasture-raised chicken, completely non-GMO and all on grass, and we do about 1.5 acres of produce that's kind of called a market garden. So it's a huge diversity of crops that are consistently rotated. It's really nice. It allows us to have things consistently that people want, and you can be able to change, and you can pretty much make your way through any obstacle,
yeah.
By being able to be that diverse.
And I'm a customer of Nate's, so even in the winter, it seemed like I can't. How late did you have fresh greenhouse greens? It was like in January.
We grow year round.
Yeah.
Our greenhouses, we utilize no electricity, no heat, and we use just row cover, and we produce gorgeous greens all winter, every month. We take off maybe a week or two in February when it gets really cold to regrow. But besides that, stuff grows amazingly, and I try to teach people more about it. Anybody can do that at their home.
Yes.
It's
He's at
easy.
the top of Skibo Road here, right down the road here in Sags River, and it's just a beautiful farm, amazing place to visit if you get a chance, and I would highly recommend it. CSA. It's just
So explain to
It's
people,
excellent.
because we always have to assume that somebody doesn't know what CSAs are.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Explain the CSA and how it works.
So CSA, excuse me, is community supported agriculture, and it allows people to reserve a spot for weekly deliveries, bi-weekly deliveries in either full shares, half shares. So for instance, our summer CSA will be approximately $20 in produce a week, which will be just a variety of tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, lettuces, greens, herbs, onions, garlic, whatever we have coming out of the ground that week goes in your fridge, and it allows you to pay up front, which helps out the farmer and a lot of costs for fertilizer, seed, and labor in terms of producing the food, and you get guaranteed food that's being picked
that's
weekly fresh for you.
That's it tastes amazingly good, and especially if you're a cook. I know Marty.
I know, Mike looked at me and like, okay, we're,
Okay.
yeah, because we all know.
But, I mean, if you're a cook and you get these fresh ingredients, there's no restaurant that can compare. It's amazing.
Completely spoiled.
Yeah. Anyway, how are we doing on time here?
Well, I forgot to start the timer, so you might want to check in with
We
Colin.
have 6 minutes.
Okay.
So what we want to do is go over where the farmers market's going to be, when it's going to be, all those things, how we can get in contact with you. So I'll let you start, Ash.
Sure. So our farmers market is going to be on Fridays between June 17th and September 30th. I think Nate just went down some of the vendors that are going to be available there, but we are still encouraging vendor signups, whether that's on our Facebook page, website, via email, or at our May 20th block party. We'll have vendor signups there as well. what did that cover? The who?
That covers the who, what. How about what if musicians wanted to play? Do they contact you also, or are you recruiting musicians? Or
We are, I think, completely booked.
wow,
Nice.
that's great.
You can certainly send us an email, and we never know if we need a waiting list, or there might be spots where people might not be able to attend last minute, and we'd love to fill somebody in. But I think we're almost booked, and we'll have live music every market for the
Wow,
entire summer.
that's amazing.
Where will your schedule be posted on your Facebook page? Like this week is such and such, and who's coming up, or have you maybe not gotten that far yet?
Yeah, it will definitely get
Okay, good.
posted, probably on a weekly basis, but then we also want to be able to release the entire summer's lineup. So if somebody has a favorite band or musician that might play, to say, hey, we can plan ahead for that,
Right.
and we know that that's going to be occurring on this date. So
Oh, great.
try to give people a heads up, to be able to plan the market into their weekly schedules.
Perfect. And if someone is interested in the CSA and Northwind Farms, how do they get in contact with you, Nate?
They can contact us via Facebook or Instagram on either of our pages, or they can email us at northwindfarmsvt@gmail.com. And we're more than happy. We have a handful of spots open for the summertime. Beautiful produce, chicken, pork, eggs. Lots of great stuff coming off the farm this summer.
Okay, great. Marty?
I was just gonna say, I think that this is like the ripe time for doing what all you guys are doing, really pushing the market, bringing it back to the center of the community in town. Because I think people, based upon going to the two events that I went to last weekend, people are like ready to be back and in person and outside or inside, and just have that routine back. We lost that routine. Like the farmers market was it's always been a big thing here in town. It's been in a lot of different locations, but I think it was starting to grow at Hetty Green, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then it got bumped back too. Yeah. So I just think it's great. And I think that, again, I try to emphasize it every time we talk, is just the supporting local aspect. Because we have seen nothing more, it's not come to our attention more so than in the past 2 years, that if you can buy things local, they're available to you. If you support local supports
Yes,
you.
and if you want things local, you need to buy things.
It kind of works that way. You gotta
it
support
really
it.
Yeah.
It doesn't just materialize.
Okay, and I think that's it for this week. This has been The Feed with Mike and Marty. Thank you guys for
Thanks,
coming
Scotland.
on.
Thank you
I
guys
hope you'll
for having
maybe
us.
come on again in maybe midsummer and talk about how things are going and what's happening. And
Absolutely.
yeah, or maybe we'll come by and do a clip down in. We'll shoot some film down at the farmers market. That'd be fun.
Definitely.
All right, so that's it for this week. We'll see you next week and have fun.
Our community.
Local news, politics, business, sports, arts, music. Mike and Marty on the feed. Mike and Marty. Mike